Alright, haves and have not fans, hope everybody's doing well. This is more of a discussion video about Tanisha and the baby that she claims is Benny. Benny got the information and he pretty much pulled a Michael Jackson, the kid is not my son. So, before moving forward in the video, please take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's obvious that it is Benny's baby just because it's the episode before the final episode, and you know, this is almost as if Hannah's given yet another hope in a grandchild, considering that unfortunately Quincy Jr. was killed. And the fact that this baby represented a lot. Remember that Candace, and I forgot the exact time. Look, it's been years since we've even heard this, but what was it? Candace had her kid, gave him over to Hannah, and disappeared for like a couple of years. So Quincy Jr. was like a toddler, basically, when Candace yet again came out of nowhere, took him from her, and Hannah hadn't seen him again for years. Or a few years. And then she learned that apparently he was dead, but then it turns out that he wasn't dead. So in a way, this is almost, again, like Hannah getting redemption. Well, not redemption, but another chance where here's a newborn boy. I can love on him and everything. I can spoil him, baby boy. And Tanisha, you know, depending on how things work out with Benny, I don't think she's the Candace type who would take the baby and just, you know, up and leave. Because I think their first encounter, which was sweet, I just love the way this scene was acted out. You know, I talked about this in my review, like, you know, Hannah saying that, you know, well, who are you? And, you know, this kind of stuff. And instead of just giving you Benny's number, let me call Benny so we can, you know, see what's this all about. And then when she realizes what's going on, hey, come on in. Let's just relax until they get here so we can talk this over. But, you know, I just feel like right there, Tanisha knows that Hannah is a good woman. So I don't think there'll be any ill will between them. And overall, I didn't really like it. Don't get me wrong. Like, nothing against the characters themselves, but I'm not a big fan of just random revelations like this. The fact that I remember when the preview for last week's episode came out, I did the video about who's this with the baby. I'm like, some people were saying, what if it's that nurse that, you know, Benny was hitting on in the hospital? No, because I forgot her name, but basically this was a character who stated that she knew of Benny in high school, and he was just like a whore. Basically, Benny was a dog, wolf, and you know, he would always go out to women, but really never gave her a second glance. And then Benny begged for her phone number. This is after he came out of the coma, and basically from there, she gave him his phone number, but we never heard or saw this character again. Not to mention, guys, I know Tyler Perry timelines are inconsistent, but even, let's say, if Benny had sex with this girl in the hospital, which makes no sense, but it's Benny. Let's say he did it in season 1, season 2, or whatever. There has been no way in hell over 9 months have passed for that baby to be born, plus the additional months of that baby being not a little newborn, but, you know, like a decent sized baby as we see in the episode. No way in hell. Even though it's like, well, Jeremy, what about in the Fresh Prince where Nikki was born and he was just a newborn, and then all of a sudden he's walking around like a 4-year-old? Fair enough. But in any case, it wouldn't make sense. There's not a lot to say about that because a lot of stuff in this show doesn't make sense. But when it comes to this character, I just don't like the fact that it's way too shoehorned in. See, if Loving You Is Wrong was different, because with Ian potentially being the baby daddy of Alex, at least this was a character who had been in the show for a while. Yes, I wasn't a fan of him randomly being, wait a minute, he's another baby daddy potential. But at the very least, this happened before the freaking final episode. Well, before the episode, before the final episode, unlike the haves and the have-nots. It just seems like they're trying to wrap things up so quick. Darcy, the nice girl from church, but again, continuity-wise, it wouldn't make sense because of the fact that her and Benny only met the once in season 1 at the front in Hannah's house when she delivered lunch. And that was it. Even if they had sex in season 1, it wouldn't make sense if she had a full-grown baby. Oh, yeah, baby. So the girl at the hospital, Darcy, and the nice girl from church. Hell, some people were saying it was Melissa resurrected with the baby. I mean, if Candace can see ghosts, why can't HAHN? And I'm like, well, you make a good point there. But aside from that, I just feel that it just doesn't make sense for this character to be randomly inserted into the story. But it would be nice, though, because of the fact that we really don't know that much about her. That apparently it was at like a club or party. Her and Benny hooked up. Benny doesn't remember it. She wanted to find him. And again, she doesn't seem like a kind of girl that's like, you're going to support this baby, gold digger and whatnot. It's like, hey, I got knocked up. I've been looking for you. I had to find your last name. We just need to talk. So it seems like she's definitely not someone who is trying to get a handout. She's someone who, hey, we have a kid. We need to talk about this, So it seems to me that aside from a grandbaby substitute, and I hate to say it that way, perhaps this is yet another young woman that Hannah could, take care of as well. Because I really loved, even though it was short-lived, the dynamic between Melissa and Hannah, because we're having a young, loving woman, a young woman in need of some love, and Hannah has an abundance of that to share. So in a way, this is almost like Hannah having another relationship with Candace through another person. It would be great to see. So I really think overall, it's ridiculous that Benny is, afraid of responsibility, even though he's not afraid of laying down with whoever he feels is attractive enough to have sex with. But I also think about that one scene where Hannah looks like she's in the car and it's being, somebody throws something at her window and breaks it, or there's a gunshot or something along those lines. So basically from there, she drives in a fury, like she's either running over somebody or she's trying to get over to Catherine's house. So imagine if it's one of those situations where she finds out that, oh my gosh, this Jim is responsible, or she's lost another chance of having a grandbaby, happy family. So she's just willing to, go off of the deep end. So that could be the reason she's enraged. But I feel like overall, we're in a situation where Benny's baby is another link to Hannah's heart that she needs unlocked, because with the whole Derek thing, with the whole Candace thing, and Quincy Jr., and even Benny lashing out, Hannah needs a peace of mind, and this would have been a great way to express that. So let me know your thoughts. Did you have an issue with a new character just randomly being shoehorned in at the end of the series with a baby said to be Benny's? Like, I feel like it would have been even better if it was a character we had previously met before. But that's just my opinion. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.